So, what happens when really ancient faith traditions come face to face with our modern ecological crisis? It's a huge question, right? Well, today we're going to dive into this powerful new movement where spirituality and real world action are coming together, kind of forging a new path right through all the trouble.
Okay, so our starting point is this kind of provocative phrase from the writer Donna Haraway: stay with the trouble. Now, at first glance, that might sound a little pessimistic, but it's not. It's actually an invitation to face our planet's challenges head on, without searching for some easy, quick fix. It's about engaging with the messy, difficult truth of right now. So that really brings us to the big question for today. What does this mean for communities of faith? I mean, these are places that are so often centers of hope and action. So how do they rise to this challenge? How do they, stay with the trouble in a way that feels totally authentic to their spiritual mission?
All right, so how is this actually happening out in the real world? Let's take a look at one organization in particular. It's called MinistriesLab. And they're basically building a bridge here, providing a direct answer to that exact question. So, Ministries Lab plants itself right at this crucial meeting point. You can kind of think of it as a hub, or maybe a guide, for congregations that feel this call to act, but they're just not sure where to start. It helps them weave ecological awareness right into the very heart of their spiritual lives. This whole initiative was founded by Sam Harrelson. And honestly, to really get what makes Ministries Lab's approach so unique, you've got to understand where he's coming from. His background is key.
Okay, let's get into this, because he's not just coming at this from one angle. He's a minister, right? So he gets the inner workings of a congregation. He's also a teacher, so he knows how to break down complex ideas. And on top of all that, he's a PhD student, deep in the world of ecology, spirituality, and religion. I mean, that combination is pretty rare, and it really makes him the perfect person to guide this kind of journey.
But what Ministries Lab is doing, it goes way deeper than just a few one-off projects. The whole thing is grounded in some really powerful theological and philosophical ideas. It's all about weaving together ancient wisdom to meet the challenges we're facing today. Yeah, to really get what they're up to, you have to look at let's call it the intellectual DNA of their whole approach. It pulls from three really profound thinkers: Thomas Berry, a 12th century mystic named Hildegard of Bingen, and the philosopher Edith Stein. So let's see what each of them brings to the table. First up, Thomas Berry. He frames our entire ecological challenge as the great work. And what he means by that is that the central spiritual task of our time, our most important job, is this massive transition. It's about moving away from being a destructive force on the planet to becoming a mutually enhancing presence. Big stuff. Okay, next we're going way back to Hildegard of Bingen. She had this concept she called viriditas, which literally means the greening power. It's this beautiful, beautiful idea of a divine, vibrant, life-giving force that just flows through all of creation. It's basically an invitation to see holiness in the greening, growing, living world all around us. And finally, we've got Edith Stein. Her work on empathy, it really pushes us to expand our moral circle. And here's the key distinction. It's a call not just to care about the world, but to feel with it, to actually extend our compassion beyond just other people, to include the whole entire web of life. Okay, so here's the crucial point, right? How do you take these huge, profound ideas that span centuries and make them real for a local community? I mean, how does the great work actually translate from a big idea in a book into something happening in the church backyard? Well, here's a perfect practical example of how it works. Step 1, a community might just acknowledge, hey, we feel kind of disconnected from our local environment. Step 2, the theological response. Maybe the minister preaches a sermon exploring Hildegard's amazing idea of viriditas. And then step 3, the practical action, planting pollinator gardens. It becomes this tangible act of hospitality, a way of literally nurturing that greening power right there on their own grounds. And it doesn't stop there. The possibilities really open up. This new kind of ministry can look like creating worship services that are rooted in the rhythms of the local watershed, not just some ancient calendar. It can even mean rethinking something as modern as digital outreach and asking, how can our online presence reflect an ecological imagination? You see, all of this practical work, the gardens, the new liturgies, all of it, is really about leading us back to a super powerful ancient symbol. It's an invitation, really, to rediscover the tree of life. Ultimately, the goal of all this work is pretty simple. It's to heal a fundamental disconnect.
It's all about taking these incredible ideas like Viridatis and the great work and transforming them from just abstract concepts into a lived, felt, daily reality for a community.
And so that brings us right back to where we started, with a question for you to think about. What would it really mean for our own communities to not look away, to stay with the trouble of this ecological moment? And what if, in doing that, we could rediscover something as profound and ancient as the tree of life, not in some faraway story, but right here in our own backyards?